Thanks very much for joining today. We have with us here the new CEO of Etruscus Resources. It's Jason Leikam, and he's joined here with the VP of Exploration and Jason Wetherup. And really excited, or really happy to be able to bring you the sort of new story. And we've always liked Etruscus for their good capital structure. Originally, their rock and roll property package in a very prolific area, the Golden Triangle of British Columbia. But now there's some new exciting information and new exciting property that's been added to the portfolio. And the company recently completed a significant raise of $2.7 million by way of private placement. The stock is listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange, ETR. It's also listed in the United States on the OTC market and in Germany. So that's great. Great to meet you today, Jason. Very looking forward to hearing your updated story. I guess we'll start off just a little bit. You had a recent management change. Gord Lamb was doing, he's doing a good job. We really did like working with him, but it seems like there's a change afoot here. And can you tell me just a little bit about yourself and your vision for the company and why the change?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to touch base on that. Yeah, Gordon is still continuing with the company. He's remains an independent director and will consult with Etruscus as well over the course of time. We thank him for his hard work, firstly, in the formation of the company. Over the last couple of years, he's been able to really maintain the share structure. And with that share structure, we have still a very considerable percentage of insider ownership. So the company has been set up by Gord and our partner, Fiore Aliperti, who's the chairman. And I'm just sort of helping to take over the reins, if you will, broadening our focus, of course, across Canada. And so just a bit of a talent shift, if you will. A restructuring of that management rather than replacing, certainly. I think the real key also with that management restructuring is the addition of talent. And that's why we've brought on Mr. Stephen Wetherup. He can speak to his own experience, but an economic and structural geologist with international experience and a very good understanding of porphyritic environments. So we're very happy to have him come on as well. And I think with regard to the expansion of our focus, yes, we just recently completed a $2.7 million private placement, as you mentioned, and that allows us the capital to not only develop our asset in the Golden Triangle, but start to expand our exploration outreach. And I think we've got a very compelling opportunity in the Newfoundland, central Newfoundland exploration boom, actually, is what is happening there. So, Stephen, would you like to give a couple of comments by way of introduction to yourself?
Yeah, I'm just I've been VPX of a smaller junior as well, and but most of my experience has been consulting with Freeport-McMoRan and a number of other companies, as well as being a partner in Carrickle Creek Consulting for about 10 years, and which took me all over the world, viewing projects, working on projects throughout South America, Asia, a little bit in Europe, and mostly in North America. But my work with Freeport-McMoRan definitely puts me as I don't know about a porphyry expert, but certainly well-versed in porphyry deposits and how to find them. So that brings me into, as well as doing, and my original schooling was as a structural geologist, which suits me well with gold projects, which are very often structurally controlled.
Sure. So we understood that you've actually started to do a little bit of work in BC's Golden Triangle and on your rock and roll properties. I guess this would be a question more for Stephen, but what's happening up there versus, what could we expect in terms of exploration?
At this point, we've got to see our results coming out. We've got obviously the rock or the Black Dog showing, which is or Black Dog deposit, which is a VMS project that has seen quite a bit of drilling. We have to re-examine some of the results from that and see if we can find additional zones in there. I'm pretty confident we will, but we will have to, we've got to do a little more work in the office on that one. But as far as the sugar and the rock and roll property, we're going to be we're doing an intensive sampling and reconnaissance program this year. We've got at least 2 to 3 porphyry style targets, as well as a really interesting gold target that came out from last year's sampling, gold and silver. And really we need to get some boots on the ground. 2 of these have come out from underneath the ice that have been melted off just recently. So we've got new exposures in there that we need to examine and flush out a little better. And the porphyry targets they've never been explored. They've been unrecognized alteration zones that we just really recognized and for what they were this year. And we're sampling them, and we'll probably get some IP done later on in the summer on those, and piggybacking off of an IP program that'll be in the area. So it'll be a nice, efficient program, and should give us some results and give us some drill targets. That's the plan.
And generate a bit of news too.
Absolutely.
You know, that BC Gold Triangle with the amount of significant discoveries there and renewed attention to the area in the last few years. It's what originally really attracted us to this, as well as the management team and technical team and the corporate structure. But it was lacking a little bit in that you can't explore on rock and roll all year. And, we're pleased that there's now a secondary property in there, and it's in Newfoundland, which is a source of a lot of exploration activity and a lot of buzz in the market right now. Could you talk, maybe Jason, you could handle this a little bit, just talk about how you got involved there and what you see the unearthing in the Newfoundland opportunity, and then maybe we'll swing back to you, Stephen. You can talk a little bit about the area and the exploration what we're looking for.
What our strategy is, going forward.
But just why don't you just start about how you got into the area and why you think it's accretive to Etruscus shareholders.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we did recognize that we are certainly limited by seasonality in the Golden Triangle. So as early as, I would say, late 2020, we started as a team putting our heads together to identify other opportunities that would expand our ability to explore all year long. And through association of, within our management team, we came in touch with some prospectors, and they raised up their hand about Newfoundland. And some of our advisors as well suggested if we had an opportunity, because of the abundance of activity, particularly in 2020, the new discovery by Newfound Gold in the Keats Zone certainly exploded the region. But we started assessing the opportunities there. Why Newfoundland? Yes, seasonality, it assists us, particularly because now we have properties in 2 of Canada's most prolific exploration camps, we believe. And the jurisdiction is very, I would say, compelling as well. According to the Fraser Institute, of course, it's, I believe, 8 out of 77 as far as investment attractiveness rated. So that gives us a very good indication, not only domestically, but internationally with the investment community too. It's attracting attention. The government's obviously very proactive and supportive of the extractive industries. And quite frankly, they do need the investment and the resource development to continue the tax base. So we think it's a good place. Obviously, because of the, I would say, explosion of activity, I think it's good timing as well. I think we see, we have a very unified viewpoint within management and the directors of the company. We're not the first ones there, but we're certainly looking at a very targeted, value-added, taking that sort of approach rather than what we see very largely, because it's so underexplored. There are companies taking very significant land positions. That's not our intent at this point in time. It's taking a very focused approach. So we find ourselves in a very good area along a structural trend and between 2 very, I would say, very highly active neighbors doing some good work. So it's I think, a very compelling opportunity for us.
Great. And Stephen, question more for you. Timing wise, when do you see some activity starting to take place? When is Etruscus going to start to do some exploration activity, and what can we expect in terms of what you see happening here in the short and longer term?
Short term, it's the historical data has given us a pretty good idea that in this area that soil sampling and IP is very useful and is successful at finding gold showings and targets. So right now we're this year, and almost within the next week or so, we're going to be conducting a property-wide soil survey, following up on historical, as well as going into areas that haven't been explored before, and hopefully following that up with some IP this year to give us some drill targets. That's the beauty of this project. I think the geochemistry and the geophysics will be very useful and will give us drill targets very quickly.
Okay, and funding wise, you're pretty well set right now, Jason. Having just completed a financing that went a little bit oversubscribed, I think, and you've got enough for the foreseeable future, would you say?
Absolutely, yes. We're well funded to continue our focus, now on 2 properties, and look for additional opportunities as well. We've just completing that program, as Stephen mentioned, in the Golden Triangle and the Rock and Roll property. We're well funded to fulfill our exploration objectives through the next 12 months.
Okay, sure. Could you, Jason, just provide a brief summary for the people that are listening and watching, just an overview of why you think Etruscus Resources makes a good investment, and speculative in nature, but what the upside looks like, and why people might want to look at getting involved here?
Sure, absolutely. I think we've got projects in 2 of Canada's most prolific areas for exploration, and on our properties as well, we've got tremendous opportunity for some very significant discoveries. The properties have been relatively underexplored, but provide let's call it a baseline with past discoveries. So we need to do some work, but we're very confident we're along the right structures to drive that discovery. Again, we are well funded to achieve our exploration objectives. So, and I think as well, particularly with our initial project, the Rock and Roll property, we compiled a fantastic team of advisors with over 200 years of exploration experience, really focused around that SK camp, but by and large in the Golden Triangle. So we've got a lot of talent to draw upon. We're also expanding that talent pool to focus on more specifically in Newfoundland, in the central region of Newfoundland. So we've got the team in place as well. So I think ultimately, we're in the exploration business. We're driving discovery. In our case, we really believe that success in discovery will really move the needle for us. We've got a very well-structured company still. The share structure is intact. And I think we'll be able to start moving that needle later on this summer into the fall on results from both properties. We're just getting started, particularly in Newfoundland.
Well, that was great. Great meeting both of you on albeit virtual. Looking forward to seeing you in person. Great, all the elements are there. A good capital structure, well financed, good management team, great properties, 2 prolific areas. There's some information we have up on the screen here for you in terms of contact info. You can contact me at Conduit Capital Advisors or Jason directly. And good luck. We look forward to the news releases, and thanks for taking the time to share your thoughts here this morning. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers.